how to click with almost anyone. Have you ever attended a baseball game with the CEO of a billion-dollar company? Well, I hadn't either until one fateful day in my first year on the job at Procter & Gamble. And that unexpected chat I had with the CEO of the company turned out to be a priceless lesson in making a connection with the stranger. This happened over a decade ago. I was a new hire at P&G, and I found myself rewarded with a VIP ticket to the Cincinnati Reds game, thanks to a volunteer organization I had joined on my team. And up until that point, my baseball game experiences were modest at best. Growing up, we would buy the cheapest tickets available and sneak down as close to the action as security would allow. We'd park in the most affordable lot a good 2 miles away, and we'd maybe splurge on a hot dog or some ice cream served in those little souvenir hats. So you can imagine my surprise when, at this game with the CEO, we got to park at the stadium so close we were near where the players parked. And we were also offered plenty of free food. I confirmed with 3 different people before I ate anything just to make sure. And despite everything about the experience designed to be comfortable, I was anything but. Because from the moment I arrived at the stadium to the moment I left, I had this feeling of that I didn't belong. Because here I was wearing the roomiest of khakis that I owned and the nicest of the 5 dress shirts that I rotated through for work less than a year on the job, in an executive suite in a room full of important people and me. And while most people mingled amongst each other, I escaped to the balcony of the suite to actually watch the game and avoid feeling awkward. And as the game moved into the bottom of the 3rd inning with the Reds up to bat, I felt someone sit down next to me. And my heart raced when I realized it was the CEO. I mumbled hello and offered a very weak handshake and then quickly fixed my gaze back on the field. And after what felt like eternity, but really about 4 minutes, Ken Griffey Jr. stepped up to the plate. "I could watch his swing all day," said the CEO. I turned to him and agreed. I was like, "I know, right? It's got to be the most beautiful thing in sports." And yes, that was a cheesy reaction to what he said, but that line led us to a brief chat about Ken Griffey Jr., the Red season, and how I was settling into my first year on the job. The conversation flowed until the Reds hit into a double play in the inning and the CEO went back to mingling. Our talk wasn't groundbreaking. I didn't get a sudden promotion, nor was I put on the fast track to becoming the VP of IT. We didn't become best friends who started a podcast all about Ken Griffey Jr., but that single sentence has stuck with me ever since. Because with that single line, we went from having this awkward silence between us to connecting on something we both had an interest in. I was no longer talking to my boss's 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 boss. I was talking to a fellow Reds fan. One of the easiest ways to be more likable is to be alikeable, aka to be like someone else. Building rapport basically means finding ways you and the other person are similar. I mean, consider your close friends and family. They often share similarities with you. Maybe you grew up near each other or in the same home. Maybe you root for the same sports team or you work together. And most likely, you might also laugh at the same jokes as they do. As Peter Pluta, a psychologist and humor scholar, says, when you say someone has a good sense of humor, it usually means that they share your sense of humor. Now, this isn't to say you can't have a diverse group of friends or that you should lose your identity when meeting someone new. Rather, it shows that one of the quickest ways to build a connection is by finding common grounds. That "no way, me too" moment can easily lead to conversations that go beyond the usual small talk to a more meaningful connection. So if you want to create that type of connections with nearly anyone, here are 3 easy ways to find common ground and build rapport. Number 1, shared location. The simplest way to connect with someone is over your shared location. Where are you both right now? Or where did you come from? Did you both grow up in the same town, city, country, or region? I found that the further you are away from where you grew up, the larger the region you can call home. Like when I'm in Cincinnati, I have a direct connection with anyone who went to Princeton High School. When I'm in New York, I connect with anyone from Ohio. When I'm traveling abroad, I connect with anyone from the US. Number 2, shared interest. You can also connect over the things that you both like. Do you both have similar things that you're interested in? This could be TV shows, music, or that one really nerdy hobby you have that you only talk about on the internet. Small talk often gets a bad rap, but that's because people just aren't very good at it. However, unless you're a mind reader, small talk is your best tool for uncovering commonalities between you and the person you're chatting with. Personally, I usually get along with other soccer-playing, hip-hop loving Doctor Who fans. And if you struggle in this area, you can find out more tips to sharpen your conversational skills. And number 3, shared experiences. Shared experiences quickly create common ground, whether it's having children, serving in the military, or participating in an activity together like the classic egg and spoon race. These common experiences can deepen your connection. Icebreakers or applied improv exercises are actually great tools for creating these shared moments. Even if you both dislike the activity, you've discovered another way to connect with each other. And that's really key, because when people have shared experiences, whether positive or negative, they become closer together, says clinical psychologist Joseph R. Dunn. And we see this all the time. People who survive a hurricane together feel a stronger connection based on their shared ordeal. Soldiers who serve in the same unit often form deep bonds, as do college roommates who become lifelong friends, or coworkers collaborating on a high-pressure project. But as I've hinted throughout this post, it doesn't have to be negative things that bring us closer together. Humor is also an excellent tool for building rapport, because there are plenty of negative or stressful experiences we live through as human beings. But when we laugh or smile together, we become closer. It's as simple as that. Researchers at Imperial College of London found that positive sounds such as laughter or a triumphant woohoo can trigger a response in the listener's brain by priming us to smile or laugh, thereby connecting us with the other person. Although it does make me wonder, did they test other sounds besides woohoo? Does, a yowza also cause this response? Or what about Shazam or kerfluff? I think I have some type of response as someone looked at me and said, kerfluff. If you want to build a connection with someone, or at least make things less awkward, find out what you have in common. Ask a question or share a thought related to your circumstances. You may not become best friends who start a podcast about Ken Griffey Jr. together, but you'll at least create a relationship. And if you want to learn more tips on how to better connect with people, be sure to like and subscribe. Now, where are my soccer-playing, hip-hop-loving Doctor Who fans at?